My name's Diane again. Okay, I personally was injured in July of 2020. I have a C6 injury and joined the Kelly Brush family a little bit about maybe 6 months ago. And this is my colleague and boss, Bruce, who is Director of Marketing and Comms for the Active Project. Um, and we're really excited about just the Active Project and the Active Project Live. Now we've started the Active Project Live in April of this year, and it is in collaboration with the Kelly Brush Foundation and the United Spinal Foundation, a virtual discussion group that's centered around adaptive sports and recreation. And we meet bi-weekly every other Tuesday at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. And the hope really is just to provide a platform for adaptive sports enthusiasts to come, engage, share knowledge, really just have open discussion around adaptive recreation and get people active and share resources and get the information out and easily accessible to all. So to enrich these conversations, we ask a lot of experts to come and just share knowledge, either question and answer, panelists, storytelling, presentations. We've kind of done a little bit of everything. I think this time we're really going to just open it up for discussion. We got a lot of really knowledgeable people on this call. So I think it would be great for just everyone to share their knowledge and lived experience and have open discussions. So I would like to start by introducing Bruce here, and he's gonna give a little tutorial on the Active Project, show you the swim page, because this every other week we focus on a different adaptive sport. And as you guys all know, this week we are focusing on adaptive swim, paraswim, and like um, uh, aquatic therapy. So I'll hand it off to Bruce.
Cool. Who here has seen or gotten to walk through the Active Project before?
Give me a show of hands.
Cool. Shelby Lynn, good to see you. I was emailing with you this morning, so excited to have your help on the Active Project. Cool. So for those who haven't seen it at all before, first thing I'll say is this is all a work in progress. Our goal is to make this the best platform possible. So if you see something on the platform that isn't working, or there's something that you wish it did that it doesn't, let us know, because that's constantly what we're trying to learn. We are about to launch a bunch of new improvements that came from people's feedback. So we're always looking for more of that. But I'll start really basically by just showing the basketball page, because it's just an easy one that we've put a lot of work into, and we're hoping to build out every sport like this one, which is why Shelby Lynn is helping us with swimming. So we want to have these for every sport, so that it can be an incredibly useful resource no matter what you're interested in. So if you go, you can see different types of chairs, you can see the equipment that you need, and of course I can't reach this button because it's Zoom. There we go. You can look at the different levels of chairs. You can see what kind of videos might give you what you want to know about the sport. So you can see transfers, you can learn tips and tricks. And tips and tricks are great too, because it might have something like how to keep cool in the summer sun as a quad, or it might be, here's how I like to use a chest strap so that it's the most effective for me to get that extra reach to get to the hoop without tipping over. So it can be ultra specific stuff like that. That you might not be able to find anywhere else. And then it'll give you a breakdown of different types of equipment so that you know what you're looking for and how to get ready for your first day participating in that sport. And another thing we have that we're growing a lot right now is this events calendar. Diane's helping with this. We have folks helping with this, gathering all the events we can find across the country and uploading them into our system. So you'll see, obviously, like Move United's the Hartford is a huge one, but then everything from local parks and recs that are hosting regular kayaking events. We're trying to get everything we can on here. So if you know of an events calendar out there in the world that has interesting events on it and you don't see them anywhere else, send that to us, please, because we're looking for all this. But the goal is you see a sport, you find the event, you can register for the event if you'd like to, you can learn more about the organization that hosts the event, and you can also see other events that might be relevant. You can search by location, you can do all kinds of things once you're on that events page. And then obviously the one that I think everybody is most excited about on a regular basis is our map, which is the largest database of adaptive sports organizations and people recreating in adaptive recreation in the country. So we've got over 2,000 people on this platform, and we've got over 380 adaptive sports organizations. So it's a massive, massive database, and you can learn about an organization, and we're about to launch individual messaging so you can reach out to someone and ask them, hey, I saw that you do rugby in Kansas. Where do you do that? Because I have not been able to figure out where you do that. And you can learn from each other, and you might even be able to find a cycling buddy or somebody else who you can learn from in recreation. So tons and tons of stuff on this platform, and we're adding new features all the time. Any questions? Because that's a very fast run through with a lot of info.
Thought maybe we could actually, I'm sure questions are going to spark up.
Yeah.
So, Aiden. So, Eden just came from swim practice. Thanks for signing on. I thought maybe we could do some intros of everyone, because I know we have athletes, we have rec therapists, we have physical therapists, we got a lot of people on this call, or just interested participants. And then as you, maybe as we kind of popcorn around, we can, questions will spark, and please, this is not just like us answer questions, but we'll answer, and we would love to have just an open discussion of collaboration. So I know Eden and Megan, I gave you guys a couple shout outs, so I'll start there. Eden, hi. So if you could just go around maybe how you got into swim, whether you are like what kind of clinical specialist you are, or if you're an athlete or just looking to get involved, and maybe where you live too. And then we can kind of go from there, and we'll run through the active project as the call goes on. So Eden, I'll pass it off to you.
Okay, thanks. Hi guys, my name is Eden. I started doing paraswim. I'm a C5, C6 quadriplegic complete. And so I started doing paraswim about a year ago. The way that I got into it was I was practicing adaptive scuba diving here at Shepherd Center with Cougar, who's also on the call. He's on my team as well. And the coach saw me swimming and was like, you seem like you kind of get around the water pretty well, if you want to come to practice. And I used to swim when I was younger, so that's kind of like why I'm comfortable in the water. And then since then we've been going to a couple like paraswim competitions across the country. And so I've gotten to see other people with a lot of different disabilities swim. And so everyone from every like spectrum of paralysis can do it. Like I have a couple paras on my team, a couple quadriplegics. For me, because I'm not completely independent, Heather, my caregiver / PT over here, she comes in and she comes to practice with me and helps me with the things that I need for before and after. But yeah, I love it. It's been like a great way for like me to like stay, like have stamina and like use my manual all the time constantly, and physically and mentally it's just like a really good sport. I always recommend it to everyone. But yeah, thanks.
Thanks for sharing. We'll maybe do Cougar, because you're one of her teammates.
Hi, I'm Cougar. I've been going to therapy and swimming at Shepherd Center for around 7 or 8 years now. Been on the team. I originally just started getting in the water to keep up with therapy. It was a good way to get cardio in without having to be upright, which at the time was a little difficult. And then I was just in the pool so much, the coach was like, yeah, just join, you're good. So then after that, of course, the working out got more and more intense. And then now I go on paraswim meets with Eden and our other teammates a few times a year. Like she said, it's just a great way to keep active. and a pretty safe way, all things considered too. Of course, it is a concern if you're new in the water or you haven't swam since your injury, that it may be a little scary getting in the water, but it's not like you're gonna fall out of a piece of equipment or anything like that. So the barrier to entry is very, very little, especially because you don't need to get a basketball chair or anything like that. So swimming is really great when it comes to that. Um, and plus, it's just fun to swim with people like that have the same injury. I mean, I'm a C5, C6 also. So me and Ian have a lot of similarities as far as that is concerned. So it's fun bouncing ideas off of each other and figuring out the most efficient way for us to progress in the sport. That's
Thank
it
you.
for me.
And that's another, yeah, no, thank you for sharing. That's another awesome part about the active project, because there is, once you do create a profile, there's a forum page, and you guys can discuss and share tips and tricks. And if someone's having a hard time like figuring out how to get in or something like that, they can shoot a message, and then it can just be like, you know, a Reddit feed for adaptive sports or paraswim. So yeah. Megan, can I pass it off to you?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Megan Cohen, and I am a physical therapist at Diamond Physical Therapy, which is located in Concord, Massachusetts. So Diane is up here in Massachusetts with us, and we have crossed paths a couple of times. So I'm really grateful that she brought me on this call. Primarily, I work in physical therapy. So our practice is 95, 99% aquatic therapy. We work with kids and adults with all levels of ability, and whatever challenges they're coming to us with, we're looking specifically to do aquatic therapy with them. So what I would say, thank you guys already for sharing, Eden and Cougar, about your experiences at the Shepherd Center, because we would probably be that like interim of, okay, I have not really been in the water and I think it would be therapeutic for me to try it. Or I used to be a swimmer and I had an injury and now I just really don't feel comfortable getting back in the water and I just need someone to kind of help me figure it out. That's kind of where our practice would come into play. So we try to be that bridge between injury or just, you know, getting back in the water and not really knowing what to do, figuring things out with you and keeping you safe, and then maybe kind of passing you along. I see Joe Walsh is on this call, so hopefully kind of like streamlining people, swimming term, into a more adaptive sports atmosphere. We do see people sometimes like long term. So if they're working on physical therapy stuff first, and then they kind of stay with us in our practice. Thank you for sharing that cool video that we got from the other day, Diane. We have 3 young swimmers who are going to be participating in an open water swim this weekend with us, who have been swimming and doing aquatic therapy with Laura and I since they were like 3 years old. So now they're in their early teenage years and we're still swimming with them. We're still pushing them and helping them progress with their swimming, and looking to kind of, again, hopefully pass them off to like paraswimming and maybe Paralympic stuff in the future. So kind of being that interim of training and getting people in the water is always so much fun. And it's just such a beautiful thing to feel that freedom again that you may or may not feel in certain other contexts of your life.
Megan, where did you say you're located?
We're in Concord, Massachusetts. So like 20 minutes outside of Boston.
Okay. I'm Sarah. I'm from the Hospital for Special Care in Connecticut. And I just thought it was a nice time to jump in because we have a similar structure in terms of like our aquatic therapy and some like lessons, and then feeding into a more, if people are interested, in a competitive atmosphere in our adaptive sports program too. So kind of nice knowing that we're pretty close. I don't know. I haven't heard of you guys, but I don't know if you've heard of us.
Yeah. Absolutely. This is so cool to be on this call because I feel like I'm going to take down all of your names and like have this connection. Because we get people that reach out to us, you know, that are a little bit too far from our pool to be protected, and might be closer to your pool if they're farther south, or, you know, vice versa. And so, yeah, and some people like from all over the country might reach out to us as well. And so, Diane, thank you for, and Bruce, thanks for sharing like the the map of all the adoptive organizations, because I feel like that's always one of the resources that I want to share with people. I'm always keeping a list of like the local groups that I know of in all different sports so that I can connect people to the right thing. But knowing that there's a map out there that might be a little bit more of a broader resource for our clients and other people that we meet is really, really cool. So thanks for all your hard work with that.
Make sure to give us that list you keep as well to make sure we aren't missing anybody, because
Will do.
unfortunately, a lot of those places don't even have Facebook pages, so it's very hard to track them down.
Sure. I will definitely find that list, compile it, and send it to Diane if that's helpful.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's great feedback, though. That's exactly what like this space is for. So I'm really excited to hear that you guys will be, sharing each other's contacts and being in contact with one another. I just want to pause. Any questions right now?
I have a question. This is Pam. Hi. The diamond place that you were just talking about, what is it called? I couldn't read your shirt. Diamond what?
Diamond Physical Therapy.
And so you're primarily physical therapy, but you have a pool where you do some of the physical therapy work. Okay.
Yeah, so actually 90%, again, more than 90% of our client work is actually out of a town pool that we rent space at in Concord, Massachusetts. So we're lucky this particular town has a really impressive indoor aquatic facility where there's a therapy pool that's 3 to 4 feet deep. It's 90 degrees. It's great for kids and also people who haven't been in the water in a while and just want a shallow, comfortable environment to get a little bit more experienced. And then we also have a full lap pool and a dive well, which has deep water for a variety of exercises. And then there's also a children's pool. So it's a really cool facility. And that's primarily where we do our aquatic therapy, because depending on the needs of the client, we can kind of use all these pools at our disposal.
Okay,
so
that's great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mary.
I didn't know if I was supposed to raise my hand or not. Sorry. Too many Zoom meetings. I just had a question. So I understand I actually was like stalking you as you were talking. I went online and Googled you real quick. What about for like changing rooms afterwards and stuff like that? That's one of the things that stopped me from going anywhere, because getting into my car and driving soaking wet just is not like, I don't want to do that. I'm just curious.
Yeah, such a good question. Where are you located, Mary?
I'm actually in Shirley, and I'm very familiar. I'm 20 minutes away. I'm very close.
Okay, awesome. So BD specifically, again, I wish that all aquatic facilities were built with adaptation in mind and accessibility in mind, because it's not that hard to think about, but so many aquatic facilities were built how many years ago? And we actually had a problem last year where our pool was closed for a little bit while they were fixing some pool chemicals. We were trying to find another pool, and accessibility was a huge roadblock to where we wanted to work and where a lot of our patients were able to meet us. So BD though has an elevator right in from the first floor. It drops you down to the lower floor, which is where the pool level is. We have 4 fully accessible changing rooms that are just all inclusive. So basically there's like a shower and a toilet and a bench and a separate bench that's dry for changing, with enough space to maneuver a wheelchair. And there's even one changing room that we had, someone had donated actually like an adult size changing table. Some of our clients that we work with come with aides who need a little bit of extra attention before and after, and might need a changing table that's a little bit more sturdy and can handle a little bit of a heavier client. So that room was actually even like kind of something that we pushed for and had made even better accessibility wise in the BD Center. So I really pride them. I haven't gotten a lot of feedback that's negative about our accessibility, so that's been great. But I do know that like so many other pools just don't have the resources or haven't been built with the structure in mind. And that can be a huge barrier to entry. So maybe I'll keep a list of great pools with great changing rooms and locker rooms. So
I have one more question, sorry. Is this pool that you're talking about BD, is that the pool in Concord where you swim?
Yes.
So in order to swim through you, I'm assuming you have to be going there for physical therapy for a particular reason. Is that right?
Correct. So in
And
order
then-
to, you would come through our practice and we would
Okay.
use, yep.
And then probably to swim at the Concord pool, you'd have to live in Concord or pay a,
Yeah,
know.
it's a membership option, kind of like a YMCA style.
okay,
But it's not secluded only to Concord members or Concord residents. So it
okay.
is a facility, but it's open to anyone, and the membership options are pretty much the same whether you're a Concord resident or not. So yeah, if you wanted to come with us, you would go through our practice, and I can put my contact information in the chat, or Diane can share it later. But if you wanted to just go and check out the pool facility and you feel comfortable kind of using the different spaces at the pool by yourself without the physical therapist, then that is totally an option. Thanks for your questions, Pam and Mary.
Thank you.
And another cool feature about, the active project, you can type in just swimming and it'll pop up programs if you want to maybe
Yeah,
share your
that's what
screen
we
again.
were doing a minute ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's noticed when we were quickly sharing. Let me see if I can get it.
And if anyone has to go, please chime in so we can hear from you before you leave.
So, yeah, so this,
So these are all the events. Yeah.
but I am a little curious. Let's make sure that's actually, because it looks like a lot
Yeah.
of swimming. I'm wondering
Take
if,
it, though.
when I closed it, we lost internet. It's saying these are swimmers. There we go. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Okay.
We're on guest Wi-Fi right now, so it's been a little funky. But yeah, so you
That's
could
super-
see there's probably 60 or 70 swimmers, and then I guess 30 or 40 locations across the US that offer adaptive swimming. And of course, like we were just talking about, a lot of pools can do adaptive swimming that don't necessarily have formalized programs, but it can be really great to get your start at one of these programs so that you learn how to do it independently, learn what works for you and how to adapt it for your needs. And then you can, either go use your local pool or teach your local pool how to have a program, which is another awesome thing that can come from it. And then you can have your own little blue dot on the map, which is phenomenal.
Shelby, can I pass it to you?
If I can unmute myself correctly, yes. I'm Shelby Lynn. I am a T6 paraplegic complete. I am actually working towards swimming with the Paralympics in 2028. So that's my big goal right now. I've been paralyzed for about a year and a half now. And one of the big things that I wanted to do shortly after getting out of the hospital was get it back in the water. And I got back in and I absolutely loved it. And through Sportable, which is here in Richmond, Virginia, they had a competitive swimming program, which was able to get me in with a Paris-certified US swim coach. It's a mouthful. And then I've been working one-on-one with him twice a week since then.
That's
Could
amazing.
could I ask you a question? Forgot your name. Oh, Shelby. What kind of swimming do you do? Do you do the crawl or backstroke, or what kinds of strokes do you do?
I do freestyle, backstroke, and breaststroke.
Okay.
The only one that I haven't really figured out how to do is butterfly. That one's a challenge.
Yeah. But when you do the crawl, can you breathe? Or are you, because I find when I do the crawl, when I turn my head to breathe, my whole body flips over.
Yeah, so one thing that I used to help with that, especially at the beginning, was putting a buoy between my legs and strapping my ankles together. And that
Yeah.
helped to stabilize my hips so that I could breathe correctly. And
Yeah.
then once I got enough experience doing it with the buoy, we were able to start removing the buoy, usually for like one lap, and that's it. And then slowly we were able to build up to doing, this week I did 600 meters straight with no buoy. So it's been really great. And it's just a matter of slowly weaning yourself off of it.
Yeah, that's great.
And how do you do with, transferring, getting out of the pool, changing afterwards? What's that process look like for you, Shelby?
So I usually put on my swimsuit at home because I wear a competitive swimsuit and it's really, really hard to get that thing on as a paraplegic. So I usually put it on at home by wriggling around on my bed so that I don't have to worry about it in their changing rooms. The facility that I swim at is called the Nova Swim Center here in Richmond, and they do have 3 fully accessible bathrooms per location. And that includes accessible shower, toilet, changing area, whole shebang in one room. And so after swimming, I'm able to basically use the shower to wet down my body more and keep it wet while I peel off my swimsuit in that changing room. And then for transferring, I'm able to transfer to the ground and then into the pool without a chairlift at this point. But this swim facility does have chairlifts available for those who need them.
How do you get
Did you
back into your wheelchair? Can you do that on your own?
I can. It's a lot of upper body strength.
Yeah.
The swim facility that I'm swimming at has the blocks where people jump off of them if they're able-bodied. And so I have found that by putting one hand on the pool edge, on the pool wall edge, and grabbing onto that block with the other hand, I'm then able to do a push-pull motion to lift myself out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure after a long swim, that's a little bit more challenging.
It absolutely is.
Edward, I see your hand up.
Yes, you do. Good evening. I have a question about bladder and bowel issues in the pool. A C3, C4 quad, and I have a suprapubic tube for bladder management. How do I manage that getting into a pool?
Great question.
Any ideas from anyone?
Does that mean that no one's, so Shelby, you haven't even dealt with that?
I don't have a suprapubic.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean Shelby. I meant the other woman from
Megan.
Diamond. I forget your name, sorry.
Yes, I was just
Megan.
gonna, and I do work with one gentleman at the moment, Edward, who does have a suprapubic catheter, and we well, he needs a lot more assistance in the water than I think that you would. And so his physical therapy treatment at the moment probably looks a little bit different than what you would potentially need. But he comes in the water with it. We just make sure that everything is like sealed off, closed off. We have kids with like G tubes and everything. They come in and like we just make sure everything is sealed. And he wears a bag in the water. We just keep it, make sure that it's sealed and we're not going to be bumping anything or hitting anything out of place. And since it's kind of a closed system, it seems to be fine. But just like we go through kind of just a quick checklist before we get in the pool with anything like that to make sure. And also just doctor's permission to make sure that everything is clean and sterile, things like that.
Any wraps or protection that you're aware of to put over the stoma? My concern is pool water ingress into my abdomen through the stoma because it's not a perfect watertight seal.
For him, no, but I can definitely, if you want to reach out to Laura and I'll just send you my email.
Thank you.
We could, we use a couple of different dressings that we keep close to the water if we ever need it. If someone has an open sore or something like that, that we cover up. So I wonder if there's just a way that we could probably use like a Tegaderm or something like that, just to give you a little.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could probably, it would just be temporary for the time you're in the water, and then you take it off, make sure that the area is cleaned right afterwards. But
I
I'm
do
sure
know of a couple of swimmers who do use basically similar to a Tegaderm. It's just a really heavy duty Tegaderm for stuff like that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's like a lot of different options. I personally have a super pubic tube as well. And I've been in the pool. It's been probably a year since I have been in the pool. I need to get back in. I'm gonna call up Megan probably. But when I have gone in, I think I've done it once where I didn't take my bag off and just kept it intact. And then I think I've done it once where I actually got a clamp from my OT and clamped my tube and then just tucked the tube into my bathing suit. There's also, which I happen to have with me, I haven't used these yet, but
I
it
use,
is
is that a ball valve? I use those
okay.
in
Okay.
between my suprapubic tube and my leg bag, because I can turn off the tube, and I'm trying to train
Right.
my bladder. I can feel my bladder, so I'm trying to
Trying to train it.
train it
That's huge.
to
Yeah, so maybe that could be an option. I know some people, like you talked about heavy duty Tegaderm. I know a person that just does saran wrap and really wraps it all the way around. But I would, just like anything with especially cervical level injury, there's a lot
yeah,
of problem solving, right? And just like
right,
a
right.
lot of adapting and figuring it out and figuring what's works best for you. So
And
would recommend just talking to your doctor beforehand, maybe your urologist, your physical therapist who will be in the pool with you and coming up with a game plan, but it's
okay.
100% doable.
And one other question. You always come up as Kelly Brush Foundation as your name. What what is your name?
I'm Diane.
What is it?
Diane, I'm the one that
Diane,
sends all the
thank you.
emails.
I, I'm sure if I played close, that if I'd played closer attention, I would
You're
have
okay.
picked that up over the past couple of meetings, but
You're okay.
alas, I did not. So, okay, now the face to the name of the emails that I'm getting to bring this to the top of my email list, the day of.
Yes, exactly.
Very good strategy, by the way.
Oh, thank you. All right, Joe, I want to give you a chance. Please, can you introduce yourself? So happy to have you join us.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Diane. My name's Joe Walsh. I'm the president of Adaptive Sports New England, which is located here in Boston. We're just a local program with a little bit bigger reach than some, but we focus mostly in the greater Boston area with the programs that we offer, and we do some policy work beyond that. Swimming is definitely one of our programs. We do multiple sports. We play wheelchair basketball and wheelchair track, and we have a baseball program for our blind athletes, and a wheelchair football team in association with the Patriots. And yeah, we're pretty diverse in terms of the offerings, but swimming's our most long-standing program. We've been at it for about 9 or 10 years. We've run swimming programs. We're really lucky. We've got Michael Prout here, who's a Paralympic gold medalist, and 3-time Paralympian, as our head coach. He's also the head coach at Simmons University, here in Boston, and that's where our swim team practices. We do once a week practice, and we've got athletes in that group who have spina bifida and spinal cord injuries and amputations, and who have vision impairments, and so a variety of the Paralympic eligible disability groups. And then we, in addition to that, again, that's once a week, we do practices there, and some of our athletes train with other programs during the week. We're like a home club during the week. And then we also run a swim lessons programs for kids, again, in multi Paralympic eligible disabilities. And we do that at the YMCA in Quincy, just south of Boston. Yeah, we've got 15 kids in that program. We've got about a dozen in our swim team program, and yeah, it's all good stuff. So we really love doing that, and have had a lot of success just with getting kids a lot stronger, kids and adults. Our swim team program is both youth and adults. Our swim lessons program is focused just on youth. So, but lots of successes, success stories, kids learning how to swim and getting better and stronger and moving on to other sports sometimes and doing a variety of different things. So we're real lucky with the environment that we're in and support we've gotten, including good support from the Kelly Brush Foundation. So.
Thank you. What has been maybe your biggest challenge that you've seen for an athlete to get in the water?
Hmm.
I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah. You know, we've had some athletes who really there's one athlete that comes to mind, was a teenager when we met her, and really had really came to us with, you know, very, very light muscle tone, mostly just from you know, I mean, having to do with her disability, but a lot having to do with just inactivity, and trying to get her into the water. She was willing to try getting in the water and learning how to swim, but it took a long time to get her strong enough to be, you know, at all independent in the water. And I mean, you know, multiple months of real basic work to get her strong enough to be to really hold herself around and move around at all in the water. And but she was very successful and has done that and is you know, now on to college and doing good stuff and moving herself around and does good work. So in her wheelchair. Yeah.
That's awesome.
We try not to get hung up on the problems.
Right, exactly. That's
Solve them
that's
and
what I
move
wanted
on.
to highlight that like there might
That's
be a
it.
challenge, but it's always possible. And when you see the success and the hard work that they put in, it all becomes worth it.
Yeah.
I will say from working with the adaptive swimming program here, one of the biggest challenges that I faced and then I see a lot of my peers face is fear of the unknown of, you know, how do I keep myself afloat so I don't drown? Because water can be scary. And
Yeah.
so working with somebody who actually kind of knows what they're doing in terms of helping you get back in the water can be extremely beneficial.
So I'm
Yeah,
sure trust is
that's
very
right. Yeah. Water is appropriately scary. You know, it's you gotta learn how to manage it, learn how to deal with it. It's a good there's good reason why you should be afraid of it to start, and good reason why you know to learn that you can overcome it without any difficulty. So
well said. And two, you know, there can be a lot of, I'm sure, like traumatic experiences associated with the water, especially with cervical level injury. So again, the importance of developing that trust with whoever's helping you and making sure you're ready for it.
one of the lessons learned that we have, sorry, let me just want to get one more sentence in, just that is that, I mean, especially with our swim lessons program and the kids, is that we've been able to train, you know, quite a few dozens over the years of just teenagers who are YMCA instructors, you know, high school seniors and college students, to work with these kids and to adapt their teaching techniques and so that they can work with the kids who we've got, who have a variety of different types of disabilities, definitely different types of impairments, and it's really been very rewarding to work with so many, you know, just kids who, you know, young adults who didn't really have any exposure to people who had disabilities before, and really they get very comfortable talking with the kids and working with the kids and playing with the kids and, you know, and teaching them with Mike's supervision on how to swim. So it's great.
That's a win-win situation for sure.
Yeah.
I see Biren on the call and Jamal, and there's a Samsung. I just want to give all of you guys an opportunity to introduce yourselves, ask questions to these experts. I just open the floor. Any other questions? There's been
I was a little
question.
confused about Diane, everybody's affiliation with Kelly Brush. How is it? I know Kelly Brush. I know her personally too, but I'm not sure how it all factors into what you're doing.
Yep. So the Kelly Brush Foundation was founded in 2007,
Yep,
right?
technically October 2006.
Okay. But the Active Project has been developing the last couple years, and that's Kelly Brush Foundation's digital platform for adaptive sports. So, and what's really unique about the digital platform, yes, it's associated with Kelly Brush and we're all one family, but Kelly Brush grants and camps are specific right now to only people with spinal cord injuries. But the Active Project and everything on there is for any disability, not just spinal cord injury. So, really, we're trying to open it up and just increase access to help people with any disability live active, engaged lives, and using sport to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Good question, though. And then, again, Bruce is the digital marketing director. I said that way backwards, but marketing digital platform and director of marketing and communications.
Yeah, close enough. Close enough.
Anyway.
Director of Marketing and Digital Programs, which is the Active Project. Basically, Greg Durso is our phenomenal programming director who handles grants and scholarships and camps. He has a more than full-time job handling all of that side of things. So when I came on, one of the things I was really excited about was building the Active Project. And so that became, even though 60% of my time is spent raising the money that allows us to do all of these things, the other half of my time I get to spend building this and talking to people about how we can make it better.
And Diane, do you work for Kelly Brush too?
Yeah, so I started about 6 months ago and on the Active Project team, and I'm a physician assistant by trade. So kind of brought me on to the hospital implementation coordinator for the Active Project. So going to different rehab facilities and talking to clinicians about how to introduce adaptive sports to their patients while they're in rehab. As all of us know, it's really hard to, when you are inpatient and just had a spinal cord injury, you're really not ready to talk about adaptive sports, and there's a lot of information thrown at you, but it's important to at least plant that seed. So 6 months down the road, a year down the road, you at least know where to go when you're ready for it. So I travel to rehab centers and talk to clinicians about how to talk about adaptive sports, and then also facilitate this group.
That's great. And do you do it all over the country, or is it more local, or?
All over the country. Yep.
Wow,
yep.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
We've been to 8 hospitals in the last 3 months in Southern California, Chicago, Atlanta, Boston. Anyone that'll let us in.
So if you know any, if you have any connections, or know of any hospital that you think could use our resources, please share that information as well.
Okay.
So you said you've been to Boston. I assume you've been to Spalding?
We have.
Yep, that was the last one we were at.
Yeah, they have a great adaptive sports program.
Yeah.
I see them listed all over the Active Project map for a variety of different sports activities. And I'm a grant recipient. That's what's brought me here. and just looking for other outlets for my outdoor enthusiasm besides mountain biking. I hope to get into skiing this winter and maybe do some fishing this summer. Who
Nice.
knows?
Yeah.
There you go.
Edward, where are you located?
I am in Duxbury, Massachusetts, which is the south shore of about 30 miles south of Boston on the coast. Megan, I'm probably 50 miles southeast of you,
Yep.
about an hour away, probably. Same with
Thanks.
you, Mary, here in Shirley, right? A
I
little
just wanted to
further, maybe.
Spalding does do a great adaptive skiing program that I have volunteered with as well. So
Yeah.
I know we're here to talk about swimming, but if you're looking for a ski program,
I am.
they are a great place to start. And
I will definitely start there. I was inpatient there last spring. I'm only 16 months post injury, so this past winter I thought skiing might be a little early.
Now it's
So
time.
I think
what's
they
that?
give you a year, right? And then they're as long
Yeah.
as you
I was mountain biking in July after being injured in February. So I did my first adaptive mountain bike session with Spalding in July of last year. And with a grant from Kelly Brush, I bought my own. It just delivered on June 1st. I had my new bike day.
Love it.
Yeah, me too.
Congratulations.
Did you get fitted for your bike? How did they do that? Or do you just order off the shelf type thing?
Depends on what adaptive modifications you need. I'm a pretty high functioning quad, so I bought a leg bike, and I have enough hand function that I can shift with a thumb shifter to get through the gears. And I have a lot of experience when I was before my injury as a mountain biker. So anticipating terrain and shifting appropriately kind of comes naturally. So,
But I mean, in terms of, making sure you get the right bike for your posture or whatever, does anyone from Kelly Brush help you with that?
no, I went to a local shop called Bike On that
Oh, yeah.
specializes in adaptive and recumbent
Oh, they
bikes.
do?
And they sell hand cycles as well as leg cycles and all different shapes and sizes, about 20 different brands. And I went down there one Saturday and they accommodated me with a half a dozen different trikes to ride around and kind of get a feel for what I wanted. Now, at that point, I had been in an adaptive mountain biking program for several months and decided that this was definitely for me. And I was going to get my own. And that's when I engaged Bike On as the local vendor for just about every high end or higher end bike that's available on the market. And
What town are they located in Bike On?
they're in Warwick, Rhode Island.
Oh, is that the closest one to the Boston area?
It is.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
And I went with a full service vendor. I could have bought a bike online and taken it to a shop and had it built, and
Yeah,
who knows what I would have ended up with, where Bike On took measurements and had the bike all set up for me. So when I picked it up, it was fully built and I sat right in it and it fit perfectly, made a couple of small adjustments and took it home.
great.
The other option is if you do go to a local mountain biking program, they will have a number of different bikes often, and you can call ahead and check what they have that might work for your level of injury, and they'll work with you to hone in on that right bike. And then you can do your research, and BikeOn's a phenomenal provider if it's accessible for you. But if not, oftentimes the adaptive sports program can give you enough information to then go to the vendor and say, hey, I need XYZ. And then oftentimes the adaptive sports program can help configure that bike once it arrives too. So
where are you located? PD 33, where are you located?
Oh, I'm in Charlestown.
Massachusetts?
Yeah. Yep.
then you're good to go. I would start with the Spalding adaptive.
Yep.
They have adaptive cycling as well as adaptive mountain biking. And I know
Yeah.
that the cycling program has a dozen different bikes you could
Yeah,
try.
I actually I do that with them.
Oh, already. Good for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I do.
Then get on a real bike and go mountain biking.
All right, if you say so. I would love to. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, check out their introduction to mountain biking. It's down the Cape every
Yeah.
Saturday, and a great program. And they have half a dozen different types of bikes that you could try out, and some very knowledgeable staff that could help you figure out what you want and what you need.
Is that in Sandwich or?
It is.
Yeah.
Mary, Pam, maybe we can carpool.
Oh, okay.
Mary, sorry, you've had your hand up for a minute. I want to give you a chance.
No, I think I want pictures of Pam doing this. So Pam, the pictures. I just said it's a water question, but it's not a swimming question. I've been looking just 2 years after I got injured. I went whitewater rafting, and I have not, and that was through, I don't even remember the name of it, but I think they're out of Medford, Mass. I don't even know if they're still there. I do not remember the name. And obviously it's been 22 years, so how would I remember that? But is there any programs out there for whitewater rafting? Because I want to go. That was my favorite thing in the whole world, was holding on for dear life and praying we don't flip over. I just got that rush, but
There is one here in Richmond.
Richmond. Okay.
Beyond Boundaries out here does whitewater rafting as well as canoeing, kayaking, and more.
Beyond Boundaries. Okay.
And they are listed on the active project under organizations.
Oh, okay. Someone at Spalding might know too. I'm sure there's something around here.
I ask all the time because Maine has like Kennebec River, Penobscot River,
Yeah,
Dead River. It's
that's
got
right. Dead
and
River.
I've done all three of those when I was a walker. And then once we did the Penobscot when I was in the chair, and it was through Zodiac. It was the group, I think that's what it's called then. But I just was curious if anyone's done anything.
So it looks like Stride in West Sand Lake, New York. And this is on the active project, so you can.
I'm gonna have to join and do it, but yeah.
Yeah. And then the next one that I see on there is like, down towards Virginia, Baltimore. But Stride is right over the border in New York, just barely over the border from Massachusetts.
Okay, thank you.
I bet there are others that just don't do it as often, so they don't list it.
This group that I did, I don't remember the name, but I know we had people that were blind. We had like a variety of people from different, disabilities. And I think there was two of us, because I went with one of my friends, were in wheelchair people. And I've not seen anything. Maybe they're afraid of us. I mean, we didn't die, so it was a great experience. And I was just curious if anyone, I'm still looking. I mean, it's been a long time, but I want to do it. And Shelby, I used to swim competitively when I was in high school. We were like, the 4 years I swam, we were the undefeated. Acton, Boxborough, you wouldn't know where that is, but people in this area would. We were amazing, the team, and this is in the 80s. I'm like probably 3 times your age, but I have to tell you, I'm so jealous because I miss that, and coming here, I'm gonna light some fires under my butt, and I appreciate you doing what you're doing.
I swam competitively as a teenager as well. I was actually on the Olympic track, and then with my injury, I was like, I want to get back into it, and so I did.
I was never Olympic status, but I felt like I was. I mean, didn't have the times, but in my brain, I was good, but I loved it.
Mary, have you been swimming at all since?
I have, but not that much. I actually have a lake house, but I've had sores and different medical problems, and now I'm a double bagger. So that's that right now in the last 4 years has stopped me from doing anything. And it sounds like I probably can go swimming. So
No
I'm gonna,
excuse for you.
I know there's no excuse, so. And for the Kelly brush, there's no age limit, right? Because I'm getting old. No, okay, good.
But I mean, I don't know financially how rich or poor you have to be to get it, but
So we don't have an income limit.
Mhm.
We take it into account, and that only comes into account when we're looking at like the total pool of dollars and the grants that would make the most impact.
Mhm.
But our philosophy is if you make, if you make $400,000 a year, you're probably not going to get that much of a grant. If you make 80,000 a year and you live in Charlestown, Mass, then that's not that much money. And with all the other medical bills and everything that go around, and especially if you are in a household where you're caring for someone or anything like that, we take all of that into account. And
Mhm.
we very rarely fully deny someone based on income.
Or age. Because I'm getting,
Never on age. We've
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
given grants, I think, from 2 to 86. I think 86 is the highest we've given.
I'm
but
87. No, I'm
No,
not
you're
87.
Hey,
Close.
I'm 63 and I just received a grant.
Well,
Really?
okay, I'm older than you, but
No, we gave out. I know I just reviewed 2 or 3 grants for 70 plus, and it's not even part of the conversation.
no, I know. I'm kidding.
It's well, I for some granting organizations it is, so that's why it's worth mentioning.
We are coming up on 6:30, so I want to be respectful of everyone's time, but this was a great conversation. Thank you all for joining and sharing and being so enthusiastic about what you guys do.
Yeah.
Be sure to sign up for the Active Project. I'll be emailing you again with the next Active Project Live. So keep an eye out for that. And any questions, feel free to email me or the email that we put in the chat. We're always around.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Diane.
Thank you.
Have a
Yeah.
nice day.
Good night,
Thanks.
all.
Guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.